James, what is this, amateur hour?
Is Friday, March the 25th, 2020. What? Of course, 2022. I am James. You are you. We are here live on Twitch on a Friday for the first time in 6 long weeks. Why? Why has the show been on a Friday vacation for over 2 months? Well, didn't you hear? COVID went away for a little bit and live shows came back. That's right. This time last week, I was entertaining a live audience. That's right. Making the legions of unwashed masses clap their hands together and laugh. Ha 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 ha. What was I doing? Oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Namely, some vulgar improv comedy with the one and only friend of the show, Vance Gillis. What type of vulgar comedy? We were talking about sticking our fingers inside of our urethras. Not in so many uncertain words. On stage, I'm happy to go, as the comedians say, blue. Over here, I like to run a clean ship. Now, I like to run it, but the guests, if this is a cruise, the cruise goers, they do not abide by the rules. They talk about the HJs and the BJs and the RJs and the LJs and the PJs. Over here, little cutie, the number one lover, the smooth operator, the genuine article, the hot property. I keep things above board. That's why the show has been on a bit of a Friday vacation. But a follow-up why would be, well, why tonight? Shouldn't you be on stage? Shouldn't you be talking about your urethras? Well, if you were not here on Wednesday, you'll be, at least some of you, happy to know that I have finally caught what I refer to as the legendary coronavirus. I'm trying to bring 2020 back before we had a real technical term for it. Before the COVID and the covoids and the coolvids and the 19s, I went with what everyone went with, coronavirus. I'm bringing it back. That's right. Lil Cutie is now Lil Rona. And that is why this show is happening tonight. I woke up today. I thought, you know what? I'm here. I'm at home. There's got to be some other people at home suffering from either lack of social lives or also suffering from, as mentioned, the legendary coronavirus from 2019. So if you're watching and you've got it, my sympathies, I understand. I've been having, so luckily for me, a very easy ride. Up until about an hour ago, I cracked open a Dr. Pepper, one of my preferred sodas. No taste. It finally got me. After 3 full days, I am now tasteless. But I'm going to tell you what does have taste. The curation of this show. 3 guests tonight, only the highest form of taste. We've got just an absolutely delicious starter salad. Now, when you think about a starter salad, does your mind go to the same place mine does? It's Thomas Barnwell. And just like a starter salad, he is dripping with a vinaigrette right now. Bit of a lemon and olive oil blend, bit of oregano. And then we've got our middle course. It's a nice plate of food. What type of food are we talking about here? What's a surf and turf? You got a nice cut of prime rib, and then you've got a big sea crab, otherwise known as a lobster. Who is this middle course? Well, it's Sarah Deshaies, legendary media personality. And then we're closing things out later on with a bit of a dessert. Something that's got both sweet and savory flavor profiles. Maybe some type of salted caramel brulee. And who is this person, you ask? Well, for the first time in a long time, it is the return of the Wayward Traveller. So you might be asking yourself a third why. James, why wait? Why not get this show on the road? And to you, I say, that sounds like a bloody good idea. That's right. I'm trying to get my British accent worse than at our "that sounds like a bloody good idea." Yikes, that sounded like Apu from The Simpsons. Let's get our first guest live and in living color on the show. Now, he and I most recently have found ourselves in a bit of a tumultuous relationship due to my, I guess you could say, lack of attendance at the variety of dinners, most namely Thanksgiving ones, that he's invited me to. But I think we're back on the road to friendship. Let's please welcome tonight's starter salad. He is Thomas Barnwell. Thomas, welcome back to the show. How's it going?
Great, James. How are you?
I'm doing well despite my hardships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, God knows you've suffered.
I'm glad. A lot of these people that come on this show, a lot of people that watch, they think this James guy, he's got it all. What an easygoing life. And it's important for me to know that I've got people in my life that know that I've gone through hardship. So, Thomas, to you, I say thank you for understanding.
I was one of those too, until I saw the hovel that you live in. And it's really a miracle that you can do this show at all. And I say, God bless you. So.
Well, I appreciate that you understand my hardships, most namely, quote, the hovel that I live in. I would have referred to it as a stony mound, but I think a hovel works quite well. Dare I ask, how are you doing on this Friday evening?
I'm great. Always happy to be here.
Now, coming in from the chat, courtesy of a real fabled viewer of the show, High Score Run, this person writes, quote, Thomas thinks this is comeuppance. Now, Thomas, let me ask you a question, and you be honest as you want. You're a little happy I got COVID, right?
No. What can I say? It would take a heart of stone not to laugh. So,
yeah. Right. But we were talking on air. I'm of the opinion that it's coming for all of us eventually.
Yep.
Okay, so you and I, we're on the same page here.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm not happy you have it.
Okay, see, this
really
feels
I'm glad you're doing okay.
I appreciate that. We're building bridges here. Now, I'm going to ask everyone this tonight. Thomas, if you had to predict when you're going to catch coronavirus, what's your prediction?
It could be soon. I'm not sure. As I mentioned to you earlier today, my daughters both have it.
And they live with you.
I discovered that they got into the house somehow today.
Okay.
So I mean, they do live here,
but you only discovered today they're back in the house that you all live in.
Right. During the shunning period, we
yes.
tried to keep them outside. So
yep.
So yeah, it could be in a week or two, who knows? But I tested myself yesterday. I'm clean, so.
And I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell you something, Thomas. The day before I tested myself positive, I tested myself negative the day before. In 24 hours from now, what you're looking at could be your future.
Wow. Well, I never had such a nice beard. So
well, I want to say this. I take umbrage with that because I thought you had one of the better beards around our social group. I disagree. I think you had a great beard.
Well, it was rented, so I had to.
Well, look, it was a great rental. Now, Thomas, again, I know that you've been on the show a multitude of times. We've talked about Thanksgiving, but what people may not remember is that you've been on the show and you talked about St. Patrick's Day. In fact, this was part of a clip show featuring never before seen footage. Now, you were absolutely tanked live on the air, and we cut it for, we didn't want to embarrass you and your family and your well-wishers and things like that. But you were celebrating St. Patrick's Day absolutely obliterated on the at-home program.
Yeah, I guess. I don't even remember. That's how obliterated I was.
Exactly, right? You were wearing a kind of a novelty St. Patrick's Day leprechaun's hat. You were talking in an Irish accent.
Yeah.
And what I'm curious to know, because we weren't able to connect over St. Patrick's Day, we've never really done a full-fledged St. Patrick's Day episode. And I see that this looks to be like you're wearing some type of green sweater. Thomas, did you celebrate Thanksgiving in 2022?
Thanksgiving or St. Patrick's?
Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to project. It's the COVID talking.
You said no trick questions. Come on.
I'm mixing up my holidays due to my brain fog. Now, did you celebrate There we go. So the texts are raring to go. That's when you know that I make a blooper and or blunder and or, of course, boners. There we go. Now, Now, Thomas, did you celebrate St. Patrick's Day this year?
No, I did not.
Okay, now confirm or deny. You, much like me, you are an Irishman.
Well, yeah, my grandparents are from Ireland, so yeah.
Okay, so you and I, we have that in common, right? And it's not just our cheery dispositions; it's the fact that we share the same blood from the motherland.
Right, and our pessimistic view of life. So
Yes. Okay, so this is exactly where we bond. I'm curious to know what prompted you to not celebrate this year.
oh gosh, I don't know. I mean, it was Thursday.
Right. Now, did you celebrate at any point, like maybe on the weekend when there was the parade going on and everyone caught the legendary coronavirus?
No, I didn't do anything. It was kind of a shitty week and had a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Well, just like a true Irishman, you celebrated by doing labor.
Yeah,
Right?
Right.
You were hard at work. Well,
in a country that I emigrated to.
Correct. Exactly right. No one is more Irish on this show than you. You know what they do every year in Montreal? They do the Irishman of the Year. I never heard of any of those, Blarney Stone kissers.
Yeah.
I'm officially naming you the 2022 At Home with James Irishman of the Year.
Thank you. Finally. Ugh.
There we go.
Yeah.
But Thomas, there's one caveat. I want to know exactly how Irish you are. Now, we did not discuss this off air. Thomas, I want to take you through a little trivia contest. Now, we've had a variety of trivia contests here. We've had the ultimate holiday trivia showdown. We've had the ultimate Halloween trivia showdown tonight. And of course, this is a very timely, being that it's the 25th of March and we're closer to Easter than we are St. Patrick's Day. Thomas, are you ready to take on the ultimate St. Patrick's Day trivia showdown?
I think that there's no nudity involved. Right?
There's absolutely no nudity involved unless you decide to pop open a couple Guinnesses or whiskeys and feel that maybe you're getting a little overheated in your clothes.
Because my fish belly white face matches the rest of my body.
Well, then here we go. You're finding a lot. These are bonus points here because just like you and I are very fair-skinned Irishmen, as pale as Casper the Ghost.
Yeah. All right, bring it on.
Well, Thomas, we've got 6 questions. There are 3 possible answers. Before we do this, there's more than just you becoming the Irishman of the Year on the line. There's also some money involved.
Okay.
Every question is worth $20. Now, for every right question that you get, every correct answer, you get to keep $20. For every incorrect answer, you have to give me $20.
All right.
So there are 2 possible outcomes. You either end up giving me money or keeping your own money.
Yeah, that was the rule in my house growing up, so okay.
Okay, great. A fantastic Irish tradition continues. Let's get question number 1 right out of the way. Thomas, St. Patrick's Day commemorates what of St. Patrick? Is it his birth, death, or marriage? It commemorates St. Patrick's birth, death, or marriage.
His death.
That is correct. You can keep $20.
Thank you.
Very good. Now, I started a little soft because I thought certainly you'd know that one. Any true Irishman would understand that. And of course, I knew that once I, built this quiz. Question number 2. According to Irish lore, what did St. Patrick drive out of Ireland? The possible answers are snakes, witches, or rats. Which of these 3 did St. Patrick drive out of Ireland?
The snakes.
That is correct. You get to keep another $20. Now, the Irish are known for their frugalness, right? Am I incorrect in saying that?
Yep, when they have money.
When they see, exactly, right? That's why I live, what did you call it? Where did I live?
Oh, in a hovel.
In a hovel, right? Just like any true Irishman, I live in a hovel. Let's move on to question number 3. Now, this were things that we turn it up a notch.
Uh-oh.
Which American city dyes its river green annually on St. Patrick's Day? Is it Minneapolis, St. Louis, or Chicago?
I believe it's Chicago.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, it is.
Thomas, you're correct. You get to keep another $20. I think this is basically you're just at $20 right now.
That's Irish, changing the rules.
Changing the rules, right? I mean, you're at $20. Maybe like, again, I don't know what your bank account is. I'm not going to ask. So we're 3 questions deep. I want to ask you here. This is an unrelated
I can
question.
tell you right now, it's $60 more than your bank account.
You're absolutely correct, right? The luck of the Irish. But apparently you get to keep another $20 due to that joke. Now, Thomas, you've answered 3 correct questions so far. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rank the difficulty of this ultimate St. Patrick's Day quiz?
I'd put it at a 5.
Okay, so halfway. You're saying it's a 5 on 10.
Is that correct?
Thomas, that's correct. You get to keep another 20 of your own dollars. Let's move on to the next question. Now, this one's going to be a real dilly of a pickle, as the Irish say. Thomas, what are the odds of finding a 4-leaf clover? Is it 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000, or 1 in 100,000? What are the odds of finding a 4-leaf clover?
Wow, I didn't think there'd be math.
Again, not our strong suit.
Okay.
Not our strong suit as Irishmen.
I'm going to say 1 in 10,000.
Thomas, you are correct. There we go. It was delayed, but that sound marks that you are correct. Again, you're on a 4 correct question streak here, correct answer rather, for a total of 20 kept dollars. Moving on to our 5th question. Thomas, what did St. Patrick use shamrocks for? Was it for good luck, for medicine, or to illustrate the Holy Trinity? What did St. Patrick use shamrocks for?
Yeah, it was the Holy Trinity.
Thomas, you are correct. 5 for 5, as well as all of the bonus answers you gave. Now, Thomas, there's only 1 question left. How do you feel going into this final question?
A little tense, Regis.
Yeah. Regis Philbin, right? He's Irish, right?
Yeah.
Philbin, that's got to be an Irish name. Regis, that's a pretty, apparently it's not an Irish. I'm going to ask.
That was the Gaelic pronunciation.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Flatulent sound and all. Thomas, here's your final question.
All right.
Prior to becoming a priest, what was St. Patrick's birth name? Was it Maywin, Seamus, or Angus? Prior to becoming a priest, what was St. Patrick's birth name? Maywin, Seamus, or Angus? This is a thinker.
That's a tough one. Because he wasn't Irish.
This is the thing. As far as I understand, he was born in England.
Yeah.
He's a fraud.
I'm going to say Angus, because I think actually he came from Scotland. So I'm going with Angus.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Thomas, that is incorrect.
Maywin.
Maywin is the correct answer. So for that 1 incorrect answer, you owe me $20.
All right.
But you did answer 5 out of 6 correct questions, which means that for the first time ever, we have crowned an official At Home with James Irishman of the Year. Thomas, let's go to you for the, there we go. You can't see it. You can't see it, but that is they love you, Thomas. Now you can't see it, but that was the applause of many Irish immigrants.
Yeah.
They were clapping because they see what they could be through you. Thomas, let's go to you. How does it feel to be crowned Irishman of the Year?
It's great. I wish it was last week so I could have been in the parade, but
Yes.
yeah.
Well, you know what? Look, I'd like to think that, you know, we've got a bit of stroke on this show, right? We're the longest running COVID created content in the larger Montreal area.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I would like to think that if someone were to hear, wait a minute, there's an Irishman of the Year on this modestly viewed internet show, we've got to make this guy the Grand Marshal of the 2023 St. Patrick's Day Parade.
Well, I'm going to start training tomorrow.
Training? What does that entail? Is it just sucking down whiskey?
Yeah, that.
Eating potatoes?
Eating potatoes.
Yeah.
Waking up and forgetting how you got there.
See, Thomas, I would like to think that this was the final move in you and I rekindling our friendship and really putting the tension to bed.
Whoa, slow down. Okay.
Okay, well, maybe I jumped the gun. You're saying that maybe there's more work that I need to do. Maybe there's still. Look, you can be honest, right? I know that you earlier on you were hiding that you weren't exactly excited that I got COVID. You can admit it, right?
No.
You can admit it.
You know, it's an old Irish saying that you shouldn't take pleasure in another man's ills. So
is that how that goes?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the old Irish saying that you shouldn't take pleasure in another man's ills.
Yeah.
Now, Thomas, there we go. So I'm getting official.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Oh, okay, I understand. Well, Thomas, because of that, that famous Irish quote, the $20 you owe me now goes back to you.
I couldn't.
It's the rules. All I do is follow it, right? This was curated by our production team. You have broken even in this competition tonight.
And even though I've broken even, I still feel like a winner.
Well, you should, right? As the Irishman of the Year. Thomas, as we begin to wind down, I'd like to say that maybe, call me crazy, maybe on this show we keep St. Patrick's Day going all year round, right?
Like Christmas.
Exactly, right? Christmas is, much to the dismay of many people, it periodically pops up over and over again. I had Santa Claus on the show last week. Maybe St. Patrick's Day is one of these things that you're really responsible for. You come on and you bring that Irish flavor that's much needed on this little program.
Yeah, that would be a good one for me, because it's like people don't notice it, and people forget that it's gone. It's already gone a week, and people realize it's. So that's kind of like me when I show up places. They don't notice me, and then
you just blend in. But I will tell you what, not around these parts. They remember you because you're on the Mount Rushmore of guests on this show.
Wow, thank you.
Right. This is taking a sentimental turn.
It is. I didn't know you had your own Mount Rushmore down there in St. Henri.
This is the thing. It's right now. It's just you, and then there's 3 of me. Right. Well, on that note, as I talk, was it the fart sound again? All right, I'm getting played out with flatulence. Well, Thomas, look, I want to thank you so much for being here. Once again, I congratulate you for being the first official at-home Irishman of the Year.
Thank you, James. It's an honor.
The pleasure is all mine, and the honor is all mine. And we'll talk soon, okay?
All right, take care.
It's Thomas Barnwell, the first official Irishman of the Year in at-home history. Folks, let's keep this meal going. We just had our delicious crispy spring salad, which was a Thomas Barnwell topped with a lemon and olive oil vinaigrette. We now move on to our main course. It is the surf and turf. This is much like a surf and turf. Our next guest comes slathered in steak spice and melted butter. Please welcome CJD and CKUT's very own Sarah Deshaies. Sarah, have you ever been?
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money,
Dollar.
Now, Sarah, in all of your years of being introduced at things, right? Let's say at the Siegel Center for Performing Arts, have you ever been introduced as essentially being slathered in steak spice and butter?
No, and that wouldn't happen at the Siegel Center because that is not kosher. You can't put butter and meat together because butter is a milk product and steak is a meat product, unless we're talking like a mushroom steak, in which case it would be all right. But milk and meat not together. But no, I've never had an introduction quite like that. Thank you so much.
Well, I will say that exact reason is why I will never be voted as Montreal's Jewish Man of the Year. I don't believe that's going to be an honor that's going to be bestowed on me due to my lack of knowledge.
I almost spat my Portuguese wine all over my laptop. That would have been dangerous.
It would have been dangerous, but I would have felt overwhelmingly happy for causing a spit take.
Literally.
Yeah.
I actually this week choked on some coffee, and I was at work where I have a lot of equipment in front of me.
Yeah.
And I just started, the coffee went down the wrong tube or whatever. And I just was like,
so it was almost an absolute technological
nightmare
moment of haywireness in the CJAD control center.
Yeah, but everything was totally fine. You're typically, you're not supposed to drink or eat, but like I'll have my coffee. My coffee's always covered. But once it's in your mouth, when you put things in your mouth, stuff happens.
I'm going to say this, Sarah, look, I don't know if this is something that is, goes through a time of the Irish in terms of a saying, but I'll say this: tough times don't last, but tough people do.
Oh, well, that's not me at all. So,
well, hold on. The coffee went down the wrong pipe. You almost spat it all over the place, right?
I mean, like, that's not really tough. Like, I'd
say give yourself more credit. Now, Sarah, I want to address something that I talked about off the top of the show. Said that this time last week I frankly think that I was thrust into doing vulgar improv comedy. You happened to be there at the show.
I was there. I mean, what a beautiful experience to be back at Montreal Improv in a new space, which I had not yet visited. So different from the old space. Namely, there's no queuing McGill students outside trying to get into clubs. So that's a very different feel. St. Henry is cool. That's great. I'm so glad that this space exists and that people like you and people more talented than you are performing on stage. And
wait, hold on. I want to go back to what you just said. Hold on now. People like you and people more talented than you.
People like, Vance Gillis and Alex blanky blank.
You don't even I can't believe I'm getting thrown under the bus on my own show here. People like you and people more talented than you.
James, I'd like to share something with you. It's a little bit of wisdom a wise man once gave me. When times are tough,
tough times don't last, tough people do. Oh, brother.
When times are tough, you also have to be tough.
I wasn't aware times were tough. I will say that coming in
overcooked steak cooked in butter, tough.
Okay, so you're essentially equating me to an overcooked steak. I will say, coming in from the chat, a courtesy of Naive Adventures, quote, James likes being nasty.
Well, I'm just trying to dish it right back out,
Well, I think this is in regards to my adult content.
Well, speaking of overcooked meat, you did a scene with Vance on the Friday. I brought my neighbor to it. So I was expecting really high caliber comedy here to impress my neighbor. Mm-hmm. And you guys just did the strangest scene where you were asking for music. Your pairing is called Collective Soul. You asked for songs from the 90s. People were throwing out Get Jiggy With It. I can't remember the second one. I threw out
A Sex and Candy by Marcy Playground.
By Marcy Playground. I was going to say Sex Candy Playground, and that sounds like a QAnon conspiracy, so not that. And we thought we were in for like a really sexy two-hander, no pun intended between you and Vance. And instead we got this really funny scene where the two of you were playing two guys who were like trying to, you had a pact where it was like one of you was going to
get jiggy with it.
Card. Yeah, get jiggy with it.
And we were
50-year-old
men.
And yes, and that's the small detail, is that you weren't 16 years old. You were like people that should have taken care of this by now.
Yeah.
And instead it morphed into this weird thing where you guys were talking about each other's beaten meat or unbeaten meat. It was just really fascinating. It was beautiful actually to be there in person at the show with a room full of strangers, and you're pushing it to see how far you can take it
Yeah,
as
this is correct.
comedic
Yeah.
performers.
Yeah.
Nobody dropped their pants, which is a little bit disappointing.
Yeah,
but
and you mentioned
also
that off air.
understandable.
I think disappointing maybe for you and reassuring for the rest of society.
You know, it was a family show. I get
it?
it.
Yeah. We had
And
lots
you
of
talked
youngsters
about
in the crowd.
you talked about some really uncomfortable sex acts that I'm not entirely sure. I've never heard about on the Savage Love cast, so I'm not sure if they're even physically possible. And I'm sure someone has tried to do it. So hats off to you for being
Well, I'll
back
tell
on
you what,
stage and talking about your penis.
We're going to get our friend Andy Asaf on the show next week, and he'll talk about all of these unusual sex acts because that's his forte, as they say. Coming in from the chat, quote, and this is in regards to me, quote, he has improv effed so many people, which I take umbrage with. I think that I have been effed by so many people.
Does that mean you've had pretend improvised sexual relations on a stage, or does that mean that you improvise your sexual relations in person?
Most of my comings and goings are mostly improvised and make believe, but we'll move on from there. Now, Sarah, also off the top of the show, I talked about how I have finally become a statistic. One of the 2,000 a day I have recently contracted, much like you did over the holiday break. I've contracted the legendary coronavirus, but I wanted not to, I don't want to minimalize it and I don't want to marginalize it. It'd be easy for people to come on here and go, oh, he's making fun of it. He'll end up like one of these anti-vax radio DJs from the States who talks about, yeah, I've got a light case and then I'm in the ICU 2 days later. Then 24 hours later, I'm dead. I become a headline where my picture's like this. Twitch streamer dead after underplaying, and they'll scrub out that I'm double vaxxed and a single boosted. But so what I wanted to do is I knew that I wanted to really address this in a professional way. I wanted to find, to me, one of the media authorities in the city, and what I would like to do right now is have you conduct an interview with me. You're going to get my first interview since local comedian, less talented than many others, James McGee, speaks about his COVID-19 diagnosis for the first time.
Oh my gosh, what an honor it is for me to land this exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Oprah and her pergola and her sit down with Harry and Meghan, nothing on this.
Yeah, they can go suck an egg, as far as that's what I say.
They probably do.
Well, they can do that, and then they can fly a kite and jump in a lake. I am, pardon my French.
Pardonne. James. Okay, so interview mode. When did you know something was wrong?
Yeah, I would say that on Tuesday night, I started getting a bit of a dry cough. I was teaching an improv class, had a bit of a dry cough, and I was worried, right? I was wearing a mask, as I always do. Wanted to be extra cautious. So anytime I had to cough, I would press the sides, cough just like this.
That seems a bit extreme.
Yeah. Well, it was extreme, but I would call it an extreme precaution. Now, I went home and I decided that I was going to give myself a COVID test the next day. So this was Tuesday night going into Wednesday morning.
Is that the end of your thought?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I got swept away by the music.
I know, it was very moving.
The music is not usually there when you do interviews. And some people, James, they find when they take a rapid test too quickly after the onset of symptoms, they get a false negative. What was your result?
Yeah, well, I took my test at about 8 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday.
And James, did you have access to a PCR test? Because that's available for vulnerable people. Are you a vulnerable person?
I would say that traditionally speaking, I'm not vulnerable, but emotionally I can be. Was this music from The Godfather?
I could just see you going up to the CLSC and saying, I am not immunocompromised, but I have a lot of feelings. Can I
Yeah.
use a PCR test?
Well, and I will say, I want to clarify because I don't want anyone to misconstrue this interview. I got my box of rapid tests. I did a rapid test. I got them at the Pharmaprix located on the corner of Atwater and Notre Dame.
A classy establishment.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
A classy establishment. So the result came back. It's Wednesday. And how do you feel?
Well, I would say physically, I feel very grateful. Feel very lucky. It could be much worse than it is. The first day, a bit of a scratchy throat. Since then, runny nose. But again, prior to going on the air, about an hour before, I lost my taste out of nowhere. And my hope is that it's because I'm congested.
But then you get your test result, and what happens?
Well, on Wednesday morning when I got my test result, it was a very faint line positive. But of course, as they say, the faint line is a positive. So I did what any normal person would. I immediately gave myself another test. And I went very invasive. I took the swab and I began swabbing the back of my throat, removed it, did both nostrils, to the point that I was crying from gagging. And then as I was swabbing my nose, sneezing from, you have to really get in there inside the nostril cavity.
I'm sure not for the first time with you either, eh?
Well, I've been known to have difficulty with a popsicle before.
Tell me more about that.
Oh, my difficulty.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, but sometimes you get a little too eager, right? It's a hot summer day. You want a cold, sweet treat. You're like, yeah, I know it. I'll get a Comet Pop. And then you really overestimate how much work you've done on it, how much you've really consumed. And then you're like, let's go in for more. And then,
yeah,
you're crying onto your summer treat.
I'm not alien to that feeling. Okay,
Sure.
so did you do what a lot of people do, which is a very cool thing, which is to post it on Twitter, which is always really funny because I can't remember what the results are just by looking at it. And so I don't really know what people are posting, but some people do that. Was that something you did? Did you post?
I did not feel the need to tweet it or put it on Facebook or Instagram. I think that it's become a very trendy, maybe like you take a picture and you're like, so I did a thing, right? To me, I thought, well, there's, and of course this is Sarah Deshaies, part of the media. She's on this show, conducting the interview. We've done a bit of a tables have turned type of thing. I did not feel the need to turn. Only someone with a real low form of character would make light of it in such a way, I think.
And what did your mom say when you called her?
I think my mom was disappointed. She was very disappointed.
Why? Why would she be disappointed?
I think she was in denial that I could get COVID due to my cautiousness.
Because you have been very cautious.
I've been very you mentioned it to your roommate last Friday. You said, quote, James has been very cautious. But apparently some people have been more cautious than I.
That's so funny. There's no lie there. I told my neighbor that you were extremely cautious a person. But I think the weird thing about all of this is that at the beginning, when people would get it, I would have a judgment. I think a lot of people would have judgment where you're like, well, did you travel? Did you go to that rave? Did you make out with those random people?
Yeah.
Well, you have COVID now. Well, you deserve it.
Yes.
And I think Omicron and this previous waves kind of changed that, where we were kind of realizing, okay, anybody can and will get it, especially as we're vaccinated and we're starting to live with it.
Mm-hmm.
This is obviously a really insidious virus. I'm still not sure where I got my case of COVID.
And I'll say this on the record. I also don't know. And I will say, to your point, Omicron essentially normalized COVID. Normalized getting COVID, right?
We estimate that 1 out of 3 Quebecers got Omicron from December to maybe February is when those stats came out. First we said 1 out of 4 and then 1 out of 3. And anecdotally, you're just like the 6th or 7th person I've heard like to have gotten it.
And look,
Like in the past week.
you've recovered. I've got it now. We are essentially the faces of COVID, you know, and I would
Yeah.
say, you know, we're COVID strong. Ça va bien aller.
Well, I keep thinking back to Ça va bien aller in March 2020 and thinking, what is our slogan now? A lot of people are saying learn to live with it, but I don't think
Yeah.
that's a very fair way to put it because so many people may end up with long COVID.
I think
and-
the new slogan would be Je m'en fous.
yeah.
Je m'en fous.
So another tough question for you. Did
Please.
you feel guilty? Did you feel coupable? Did you feel shame knowing that you got it and that you maybe got it from Vance while you guys were joking about your penises on stage?
Well, I would say that if I did get it from Vance, then he's asymptomatic and hasn't tested himself. I would say that I felt no shame. I felt no guilt. There was a brief moment of denial where I thought, there's no way. It's probably just a cold. And then I looked at both tests and realized that I felt sick and thought, James, you just have to, it's time to face the facts.
Yeah.
You did, as a legendary singer, James Ingram once said, I did my best, but I guess my best wasn't good enough.
Ouch. So do you feel solidarity with the Premier Francois Legault, who also tweeted yesterday, as you so put it, people who are hungry for attention?
Yeah.
He posted, the emoticon that's like a small face. It's not like this.
Yes.
It's like,
yeah, just a pleasant smile. The
Yeah.
smile that you do when you see someone you know walking down the street and neither of you want to speak to each other, and it just.
I think that's the most psychotic of all the emojis. Like not the one going, like not that one, not the one with the money tongue, not the one.
See,
going,
I like the one that I think you did at first, the one that's kind of drunken, like the.
yeah.
That's probably my most used emoji.
Yeah. So the Premier posted the emoji
During his COVID reveal.
with his COVID reveal. And I just thought, are you going to take it more seriously now? Are you going to reinstate the PCR testing so that anyone can take a PCR so we have a better idea of how far this is spreading?
Well, I will say this. I saw someone on Twitter say they hope he dies.
Well, we don't want
it's-
anyone to
That's
die.
what I would say is a bit much.
That's a bit much. That's totally uncalled for and really uncomfortable. Do you feel solidarity with the Premier?
I would say that I've never felt closer to a political figure in my life.
Fair enough.
You know, I
Do you feel so close to him that you'd be willing to give me $500?
well, I'm going to need that because I'm certainly going to have to pay taxes this year. So as Randy Jackson once said on American Idol, that's going to be a no for me, dog. But I will say that it's nice to feel close to there we go. That one's for me. It'll feel nice to be so close to a political figure again. The last time I felt any type of kinship was when Stephen Harper at the Conservative Party Christmas event was playing Guns N' Roses with his band using a piano. And by piano, I mean pathetic little keyboard.
Conservatives can play music too, James.
Of course, yeah. I mean, look, I thought I'll never have anything. I know that the one thing is me and Stephen Harper, we both are similar in the good looks department. But I thought, I guess Stephen Harper likes the same music as me. Apparently, there we go. That's going to be a no for the good looks.
Did you know that Stephen Harper's son's name is Ben Harper, like the musician?
Much like the famous singer of Always Have to Steal My Kisses From You. I always have to steal my kisses from you. One of the worst songs in the history of mankind.
That's your least.
There we
favorite
go.
song.
So now Thomas Barnwell owes me $20 for that correct response. Yeah, the Ben Harpers and the Jack Johnsons and the Jason Mrazes, that's like the perfect mid-2000s concert festival that takes place on a beach featuring a vast audience of mostly men wearing cargo shorts and maybe clamshell necklaces.
I was on a beach once and a man in cargo shorts proposed marriage to me.
And you said yes, right?
I said, what? I just met you.
I don't know. Sounds sexy to me.
I
I really
and
respect,
he
the,
said,
I
"We're
respect
gonna
the
have-"
guy that goes for it.
And he was like, and we're going to have lots and lots of children. And I was like, What is going on right now?
It sounds like he wanted to sire lots and lots of children.
I wonder
Sarah,
what happened to that man.
You know, he's probably deceased. Sarah, you know, when the conversation turns to the collective works of Jason Mraz, it means we're quickly on our way down here. Do you have any final hard-hitting questions for me?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I've totally abdicated my responsibility as a journalist to ask you.
No, it's
tough
fine. It's fine.
questions.
I took you off course, which means that I really
Which is pretty much par for the course for when we talk.
yeah, because namely I appear, I would say at least 2 to 3 times a year on Upstage, which is every Thursday at 6 p.m. on CKUT.
That's correct.
Right. I like to think I bring, I would say, a flavor to the show that no one else does. I'm kind of like a flaming hot Cheeto in a world of very sensible tastes.
I have an idea for you for your future show, which is that you get boxes of the Cheetos mac and cheese, and you have all of your guests prepare that.
Okay.
And then you do a taste test. And there's 3 different kinds. There's regular, there's jalapeno, and there's the flamin' hot.
Yeah. Okay, so you're saying we do a flamin' hot Cheetos variety of flavors taste test on the show.
And it's craft dinner. It's mac and cheese.
Never will so many bowls of boiled noodles be thrown into a garbage as they will that night collectively.
I'm such a good Canadian that on the last Air Canada flight I took, I watched a 50-minute documentary in French about the legacy of craft dinner.
Oh, okay. Now this, I'm all for CanCon, right? And when it comes to CanCon and the name of that, I think that this interview that you've conducted tonight is going to become one of Canada's heritage minutes. And I mean, I think that it will be everyone's favorite, except for Thomas, whose favorite is most undoubtedly the one with all of the little Irish children who got to keep their last names. Remember that one?
That
When the priest is like,
please, sir, my name.
Ton nouveau famille. Après de cette journée, tu vas être Catherine Bélanger. And then like the one little girl's like, no, notre mère maladie avant de sa mort. Comme besoin de, we have to keep our Irish names. And then all the parents are like, yeah, there we go, right? So it's getting sentimental in here. That's our production assistant, Devin, crying. Yeah, I think that this is going to be a Canadian Heritage Minute.
Oddly enough, the Irish names, the Irish orphans, whose descendants no longer speak English or Gaelic, actually came up today in conversation for me. Okay, one more hard-hitting question.
Please.
Have you spread COVID to anyone else, James, as far as you know? Like, did you give me COVID on Friday when we talked very in depth about your urethra jokes?
Now, I think the entire time we were talking, I was wearing a mask and you were wearing a mask.
True.
Our proximity.
I don't like to talk without protection, so you know.
It's well, hey now, it is Friday night after all. I don't even know what that's in response to. Apparently, our production assistant is in favor of protection, but I will say that we were not 6 feet apart.
No, we were not.
And we did speak outside without masks on.
That's true.
I will say, though, that you probably have some natural immunity after your courageous battle with coronavirus.
Yes, I think I do. Yeah. After 3 shots and a case of Omicron. Yeah.
This is all to say that I do not believe I passed it on to anybody.
I'm glad.
And I think
your conscience is cleared.
Yeah, it speaks to the level of my cautiousness.
I'm so proud of you.
Well, thank you for that. That's the first time anyone's ever said it to me on that show.
Any closing thoughts for you as my guest?
You know, I would say, I want everyone to be safe, stay cautious. COVID is still out there, but also at the same time, you can be as cautious as you want. It's coming for you.
Last question. Do
Okay.
you need me to bring you any flaming hot Cheetos mac and cheese?
Absolutely not.
Why not? What's the problem?
It's as I think people look at me and they go, yeah, this is a guy that likes smoking cigarettes and getting high on dope and hanging out in junkyards. Certainly he'd like some flaming, as Thomas Barnwell nods approvingly to that. projection. There we go. Thomas Barnwell. I now give him his $20 back to him. They would look at me as someone that would eat a lot of trash. And I think that the Flaming Hot Cheeto mac and cheese, maybe not for me. I would do it in the purpose of this show. So there we go. We've got a lot of shows coming up. We've got Cowboy Night. We've got Greek Heritage Night that's coming up. I think.
Well, happy Greek Independence Day, 201 years ago today.
Wow. Okay. So we're not commemorating that at all. So much so that we're celebrating St. Patrick's Day a week later. So this means that next week we'll be celebrating Greek Independence Day. So to those, I raise a Greek chicken pita as a toast.
You're just doing everything a week late.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to it a week late. Everything here is a week late. Sarah, look, I have to thank you so much for being courageous and bringing just a very mild, salacious tone to this interview tonight.
A mildly salacious tone to this interview.
You get to do on this show what the CKUTs and the CJDs of the world could never stand. This is Sarah After Dark.
I just want to say we did talk about what you might call a tramp stamp this week.
I would never use a disparaging term like that.
Yeah, so lower back tattoos are back in fashion supposedly. And I had one of my guests who was like, "Are we going to say it? Are we going to say it?" And I was like, "Why did I bring this topic up?" Because and it didn't end up getting said, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But I know how to live dangerously, maybe a little too dangerously.
Well,
but otherwise, I'm a very cautious person.
I appreciate that you live dangerously on this show every time you come on.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And please take care of yourself and get better soon.
Thank you so much,
we can have
Sarah.
a Cheetos mac and cheese-a-thon.
Look, it's only a matter of time. I thank you so much for spending your Friday with us, Sarah.
Bye.
There we go. Sarah did it best. She did and said it best with her peace sign. She also said that I hit the stage every Friday featuring a plethora of people more talented than I. Never has a statement on this show bothered me more than that one. Folks, we will be back next Monday. I think, let's hope that I am still living and not another statistic that is released every day or so by the Quebec government. Who's going to be here? Not sure yet. Dave Kaufman is still in San Francisco, where I feel some type of kinship because I think he'll be coming back with COVID. He says masks are, quote, a meme out there. And for the non-youngsters such as myself, that means people make fun of masks. I would never fit in San Francisco. Let's welcome our final guest of the evening, the dessert of the night. He is sweet and he is savory, much like a salted caramel brulee. He's on the road from an undisclosed location. Let's please welcome, once again, the Wayward Traveller. Wayward Traveller, welcome back.
How's it going, James?
I'm doing very well. Is this is copyright-free instrumental of "The Wait" by the band?
Is this radio on my hog too loud for you?
Well, it sounds like your radio's tuned to only instrumentals, 105.5 FM.
It's the only thing I catch out here, out in the dunes.
I can't imagine. Yeah, the signal is particularly good.
No.
Well, can I ask, Wayward Traveller, can I ask you a question right off the hop?
Yeah.
I guess it isn't only an instrumental version. You get a bit of the chorus, get a bit of the harmony.
Oh, do you? Oh, yeah. That's fine. We're not going to get in trouble for that.
I'm glad. Oftentimes when you're on this show, you're listening to the band. Who's your favorite member of the band?
I think it's the drummer.
It's the drummer? Would you like to maybe any names there?
Well, I knew him personally, so I don't call him by his civilian name. I call him by his God-given name.
Well, depending
Thick
on
Rick.
which Slick Rick. Well,
no, Thick Rick.
Thick Rick. Well, Rick Danko was a member of the band. He wasn't a drummer though.
Oh, it wasn't?
Depending on the lineup, you might be talking about Levon Helm. God rest his soul.
I miss him every day.
What do you think about What do you think about Mr. We call him Mr. Robbie Robertson on this show.
Some people, we don't get along, but
Yeah, well, Robbie Robertson, did not get along. Yeah, I guess you know more about the band than I would have assumed, right?
they're a great band. That's why
Great
they call
band.
themselves that.
Yeah. Now, Wayward Traveller, what brings you to the show tonight? Because usually you just stop off on the show like someone stopping off at a roadside diner or roadside gas station.
I felt a little disturbance, James.
Okay, you want to tell us more about that, Wayward Traveller?
Felt something wrong with you.
Well, I mean, I guess, your instincts were true. As I mentioned a couple times, I caught the legendary coronavirus from 2019.
What's that?
The coronavirus, COVID.
What is that?
You've just been, well, it's this horrible illness that's been going around for 2 years.
And is it genetic or?
No, it's not genetic. It's an airborne illness. It's really torn through humanity, right? It's like more of a severe version of SARS or the swine flu, or as I call it, the pig flu.
That makes me sad. I hope they get a cure for that soon.
Well, there's no cure, but there's a lot of preventative vaccinations that you can take. I guess because you didn't know, you haven't been vaccinated.
What's that?
A vaccination?
What's that?
Well, it's like a needle that kind of protects you from a lot of illnesses.
God, they come up with everything, haven't they?
Yeah. How old are you?
I don't know. I'd have to check
All right.
the warranty on this bike.
I mean, certainly, wait, you track your age by the warranty of your bike?
Some people use a ruler and a little pencil on a doorway in their house.
Okay, so
Some people use a calendar.
Well, no one measures their age by their height. Well, no one measures their age by their height, but you measure your age by the warranty on your motorcycle.
I felt there was something wrong, James.
All right.
So I decided to call you up because I felt some pain. And I wanted to call you to make sure that your soul wasn't hurting anymore. Because the tearing sound, the sound of tearing of a soul, is even louder than my bike here.
Well, I would say, we make jokes, but it's been a tricky couple days, right? Of course, because of this illness.
Come on. Tell me about it.
Well, hey, that's exactly what I'm doing. You can't leave your house. You can't come into contact with people. I've had to give up a lot of work, a lot of performances. I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky and I'm very grateful. But, there's some minor inconveniences.
I was sick once.
Really?
Yeah. I got it. Little virus myself.
What virus are we talking about here? Was it kind of like the flu?
Sweetheart gave it to me.
Now, when you say a virus, what kind of virus are you talking? Is this like the type of, a virus of the Andy Asaf persuasion?
She gave me heartbreak, and there's no cure for that.
Yeah, you certainly can't get vaccinated for heartbreak.
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if they could find a vaccine, as you call it, for heartbreak. She gave me vaccine heartbreak. And it hurt real bad. It spread to all my limbs of my body, James, and I couldn't get out of bed.
You're still suffering from it all these years later. You learn to live with it.
Yeah. I guess I did learn to live with it. I guess it's still a part of me, still to this day, James. It's...
Well, how long ago, can I ask?
What's the warranty on my windshield of my motorcycles?
Well, you don't have a windshield. You have rear view mirrors, but you don't have a windshield.
Yeah, exactly. That long.
But
it feels just like yesterday, James, that I
Right.
I had the virus you call heartbreak, and it's been coursing through my body from head to toe, and it's never gone away. And Something tells me whatever you're dealing with. What is that? What's it called?
A coronavirus.
They should abbreviate that.
Well, they have. They've abbreviated to COVID-19.
They've thought of everything, haven't they? First they put a man on the moon.
And then they abbreviate a word.
I think what you're going through right now, if I can go through it, you can go through it too,
Well, no,
brother.
you haven't. You've gone through a different. I've gone through heartbreak.
You and I are the same.
Well, I don't know if we're the same, right? You have a driver's license and I don't. You know, I have coronavirus and you don't. But we've both gone through heartbreak.
You've gone through heartbreak, brother?
Well, yeah, I know it might be surprising looking at a guy like me, but yeah, I have.
If you've gone through heartbreak, it means you loved. And
Yeah,
sometimes when you play the devil at his game, you get the pitchfork, brother.
Wait, in this case, is the woman the devil?
Love is the devil.
Right.
And 21 blackjack is the relationship.
Well,
And heartbreak is the
Yep.
pitchfork.
Yep.
And also the virus.
Well, you know, it's like
Round
legendary.
me.
Yep. Legendary. You might know this band. Nazareth once said, "Love hurts." Right? Love hurts.
Yeah. I helped write that tune.
Wait, you helped write the song "Love Hurts" by Nazareth?
How do you think I got them to Nazareth? On the back of my bike.
Well, I mean, I guess like you know, like another song, like the Jay Giles band once said, "Love stinks."
Who do you think helped them with that?
You're not gonna tell you not only worked with Nazareth, but you worked with the Jay Giles band.
I get around. You ever heard of that song?
I Get Around.
Who wrote
What
that
artist?
one?
What artist? Well, it's, you know, it's a lot like Patti Smythe and Don Henley once saying about how sometimes love just ain't enough.
Yeah, I think I wrote that one too.
Okay, so you know, I wasn't aware that you helped collaborate on a lot of really famous songs about heartbreak.
Yeah. But enough about me, James. I want to know.
Well, hey, hold on. Do you like the Eagles?
No, they fucking suck.
I really feel like the Eagles are right up your alley.
No. What makes you say that?
Well, you know, you like the band, and I was talking about Nazareth. I feel like the Eagles really fall in
They
love
don't
with
do it for me.
Well, I was going to put a button on this, and, you know, it's like the Eagles once saying about how there's going to be a heartache tonight.
Oh, they stole my song.
Wait, you're saying that?
Oh. They stole my song, those bastards. Whatever.
Wow, you're saying that, again, this is the second Don Henley reference, and Glenn Fry and the legendary Randy Meisner, Don Felder, they stole Heartache Tonight from you?
It doesn't matter.
All right.
Heartache is a tune we all sing in the shower and in the afternoon.
Yeah, we agree. We agree. And maybe that's a song you can write. Heartache is a tune we all sing.
Maybe I got another tune in mind.
Is that it?
My brother James is the strongest guy I know.
Well, that's very nice of you to say, you know.
I seen you getting down and I've been listening in. I could see that you got some pain in your left and right pocket. And in your center pocket, your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let this COVID rhinovirus get you down. Don't let it get you like it did me, because I'll tell you something, James.
But no, you didn't have.
That I've
as
never
you put it,
told
the-
anybody
the
before.
COVID rhinovirus.
I may
You're
seem
talking about-
cool and calm on the outside.
Yeah.
An absolute chill man. The wayward soul, guided only by a whisper. I'm not okay. Because that weight, well, I've never been able to find somebody to put that load onto. I see all the beautiful people you got around here, James, all the beautiful guests, Sarah Deshaies, Thomas Barnwell, and so many more. The whole Irish people are behind you, James. They love you. And the Greek people as well.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have Greek Heritage Night coming up soon.
That makes me happy.
Are you Greek?
No, but I love what they do.
Which is? Put
With-
tzatziki on things?
You've got people behind you, James. You got a family. You got a weight. And right now, man, you put that
This
way.
really sounds like a bit of an extended. Is this a live version? They perform at the Fillmore. They saw what the Allman Brothers did.
Put that weight.
Gonna top it.
Put that weight onto them, James, because I never had that. And I'd trade my bike in a heartbeat to have what you have. So I want you to go fast, James. I want you to go fast, and I want you to put your family right in that sidecar next to you. You understand?
Yeah.
James, I'm going for a ride.
All right. You might want to turn around.
I'm gonna ride, James. I'm gonna start going right now, all right? I'm gonna go as faster than I've ever gone before.
Yeah.
Here I go. Take it easy, James.
Take it easy, Wayward Traveller. Thanks.
Oh no, watch out! Oh my god! James! Oh! James! James!
Wayward Traveller, what's going on?
Oh, James, oh no, I'm drowning!
Wait, where was that body of water?
Oh, James, I went off the cliff! Oh, and I'm drowning!
There's got to be something you can grab onto.
No! The bike is gone!
Wayward Traveller. Look, is there anything can you shout for help?
There's no shouting as the Wayward Traveller. The hum of the bike always drowns it out. James, it was an absolute blast.
Well, you're just giving up. You can't swim?
I never learned how.
Oh, neither did I.
James, I'll see you on the highway. Yeah!
God, that water is polluted with desk chairs.
Yeah!
Oh, he's still dying. Wow. I don't know what to say. Why does this keep happening on this show? This is like the third or fourth person who's drowned live on the air. Folks, I mean, I wasn't expecting to end this show on a somber note, but I think that if there's one thing that the Wayward Traveller said that really stuck with me, it would probably be this. And it's powerful stuff, and it's I can't believe he doesn't like the Eagles, but he likes the Jay Giles band. His legacy will live on forever. Folks, that's our show. For the first time in 6 weeks, we were live on the air on a Friday. Of course, I want to thank the first ever 2022 At Home with James Irishman of the Year, Thomas Barnwell, for being here and really showing us that he has what it takes to truly be the Irishman of the Year. I want to thank Sarah Deshaies for not only bringing a hard-hitting interview, but a true adult flair to the broadcast tonight. And of course, we want to, I guess, give our best wishes to the Wayward Traveller who flew into the ocean and just gave up. His memory knows no bounds, and we will honor it from here on out. Folks, that's our show. We'll see you next week. And to you, I'd say, I am James. You are you. We were here. Good night, goodbye, farewell, and of course, be well.